You wouldn't want to be them. Except you kinda are. And maybe that's okay. Hi, I'm Kaitlyn, and today we'll be looking at the top 10 shows you should be watching if you feel like a mess. For this list, we'll be looking at the shows who, through their brutal honesty, shameless humor, and wild antics, showed just how hard it is to become the person you want to be when life, and especially you, get in the way. But these shows also have an undercurrent of optimism about them, showing that despite it all, things are not as bad as they seem, and can even work out for the best. Number 10, Loudermilk.
Asshole? Coffee for asshole?
Yeah, that's me.
In this grossly underrated comedy, Ron Livingston heads a stellar and hilariously charismatic cast as the titular character, a biting retired music critic turned substance abuse counselor Sam Loudermilk.
I'm Sam Loudermilk, 4 years off the sauce.
New guy, why don't you introduce yourself? You don't have to stand up. I mean, you can, but nobody does.
The show follows him and his group as they attempt to help each other to stay sober through means that vary from lovingly supportive to downright insane and even occasionally cruel.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Punch it!
But at its core, the show is about second chances and not giving up on yourself or others, even when it seems all hope is lost. Loudermilk said it best to Claire on the pilot.
Hurting yourself is easy, but living is hard.
However, when we put in the work on ourselves, the hardships can feel worth it in the end.
Insurance purchased by an entity meant to be a pass-through for tax purposes is significant. Now, as for the profit and loss column you finally included...
Number 9, Bunheads.
Are you kidding me?
What?
I can see you. I can see all the things you're doing.
I'm sorry, we're trying. We ate power bars before coming.
I jumped on a trampoline.
Speaking of underrated, while it wasn't as widely acclaimed or the bearer of many nominations and awards like its predecessor and successor, Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel respectively, Bunheads is no less worthy of praise. Using the same fast-paced and pop culture-driven dialogue as the other shows, Bunheads is about a talented but struggling Las Vegas showgirl who impulsively and drunkenly weds a man from a small town and winds up helping her mother-in-law run her dance studio.
Oh, God. You guys, it's terrible. Where's the attitude? Come on, you guys, impress me from the top. A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, ain't she sweet? You see her walking down that street.
Not where you expected this plot to go, huh? The town of Paradise, California feels like a beachside version of Stars Hollow, filled with its own strange traditions and remarkably quirky characters, who are refreshingly unapologetic and shameless about their various oddities. The show will speak to anyone who feels like they haven't come very far, but will show that life can take you to places that feel more like home and success than the idea you had in your head.
My name is Dr. Milburn, and I am here to start an open conversation about SEX.
Number 8, Sex Education.
We adults know.
Growing up is hard, to say the least. But while most teen shows these days tend to lean into the dark and the dramatic, Sex Education tries to approach its characters' problems with a sense of humor and humanity.
I think you forgot something. It's just a pencil case. Don't give a fuck about your pencil case, curly whirly.
Like, come on, man. Not my curly whirly.
Give me that curly whirly, or I will break your face.
The show stars well-established and talented actors such as Gillian Anderson and Asa Butterfield, as the occasionally inappropriate, but always well-intentioned sex therapist Dr. Jean Milburn, and her precocious but sexually awkward son, Otis, respectively.
Mr. Groff.
Okay, she wasn't giving out sex advice. I was, and I shouldn't have been, because I'm 16 years old, and, well, I've only had sex once. Wasn't even very good, apparently, but my mum was here to listen to your problems and give you the advice that the school should have been giving anyway. What? My mum is an excellent therapist, and she cares about people. She only wants what's best for them. Which is why she's also such an amazing parent.
Despite their different levels of comfort discussing sensitive topics, both of them approach sexuality and all its issues and anxieties with both intelligence and compassion, something that is sorely lacking in both television and real life. Their paralleling journeys, as well as those of the ones they help with their advice, show us that no matter how old we are, we all have some learning and growing up to do, and there's nothing we're going through that can't be overcome with a little kindness, an open mind, and a little education.
Sex doesn't make us whole. And so, how could you ever be broken?
Number 7, Superstore. It's a show that can best be described as more upbeat than The Office, but more cynical than Parks and Rec. And in that sweet spot exists a show about a big box superstore and its dysfunctional employees, who try their best to avoid disaster within the store, that they, more often than not, end up causing themselves anyway. No one at Cloud9, with a few exceptions, really wants to be there, but they try to make the most of it any way they can, whether that be through games they invent to play during their shifts or living it up during accidental lock-ins. It's a surprisingly honest show that tackles the issue of how pointless it feels to fight an amoral corporation that will never play fair no matter what you do. Exploring how to make the best of an unfair and seemingly bleak situation is nothing short of medicine for the soul, and anyone can see themselves in these characters, making it far easier to accept that it's okay to not be where you want to be at the present moment.
Hold up, wait. Yo, I don't like working here.
Okay.
But it's my job. I do the bare minimum, but I don't do less than that. And I'm not about to let a bunch of deal-hungry rubes trash our store and make me feel bad for Dina, which I did not think was possible. So I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna finish my shift. And yeah, I'm gonna cut corners and I'm gonna phone it in. But it'll never be said that Garrett McNeil did not do just enough to not get fired.
Number 6, Bob's Burgers. This show broke a lot of molds in animated television. A competent TV dad with his own business and a loving and stable marriage with his far quirkier wife who are raising their 3 very different children, who they also love.
Bob, just a sec. No, you're not autistic, Tina. How many toothpicks on the ground? Don't play this game again. Come on, how many toothpicks? No, it just involves me cleaning up toothpicks. 100? Bob. No. 100? It's 3. There's 3. Okay, how many now? Bob. 3. No.
Ugh, you're the worst kind of autistic.
You can't even count.
They're constantly trying to run their burger restaurant amidst all the chaos that seems magnetically drawn to them and their business. But the Belcher family always seems to take it in stride and come out stronger, all as a united front, each enlisting their own unique skills to do so. The show is the perfect example of how you should never give up, even when things don't go according to plan. It emphasizes that it's more important to try a million times than to hope you get it perfect the first time, and that you should never be afraid to lean on your family, no matter how strange they seem on the outside, or actually are.
Maybe I should just try and...
Gene, honey, I think he's sleeping.
I have to go to school!
Shh, just hold still.
Oh, is this drool or sweat?
It's both. Your father is a very moist sleeper. Oh, look at my 2 boys.
Nice!
Oh, a bow!
Let's put that on Dad's head. There's your transvestite.
Get the camera.
Number 5, Broad City. If you cross the optimism and genuine friendship found in the Mary Tyler Moore Show with the all-too-real difficulties of being in your 20s and girls, you'd have this Comedy Central gem. Created, starring, and written by the real-life versions of Abby and Alana, 2 best friends living in New York City, these 2 women are just trying to find their places in the world, and seem to be messing up every chance they get, despite their best intentions. And who among us can't relate to that?
Okay, who else? Henry Rowdenbush had a unibrow all through middle school, and then he started waxing it, and all of a sudden it was like, glasses off, you're fucking gorgeous. It's like she's all that.
They're loud, raunchy, prefer the company of each other and their tight-knit group of equally odd friends over their romantic partners any day, and are unapologetic about who they are, even if they don't always like themselves. Anyone, especially lost young women, can find something familiar in either or both of them, and having someone you can relate to, for better or worse, but still root for, can definitely be cathartic and healing for anyone's self-image. Number 4, Community.
just became my hero. Thank you.
When you have one of the minds responsible for Rick and Morty behind the camera, you know you're in for an interesting and surprisingly existential 30-minute ride. Community centers around an eclectic group of community college students that form a study group and seem to spend most of their time dealing with their various neuroses, rather than doing any actual studying.
Now, do you want to talk about clothes like a girl? Or use tapered sticks to hit balls around a cushioned table, like a man?
Balls like a man.
Amidst all the craziness that happens at Greendale, the show has a lot of heartwarming moments that champions friendship between people you would never think to put together, whether it be because of age, race, gender, class, differing experiences, or personality types. It's a show that encourages anyone watching to step out of their comfort zones and definitely embrace their inner weirdness, allowing them to realize that once you tap into the oddest, seemingly least cool parts of yourself, you might just find a version that you like better than all the others you've tried on in the past, and in the process, even find your people.
That is the place I want to work. But I prefer to hang out with cool people. People so cool, they care. And now, the puppet.
Stop 1 Street, Central Park,
Number
Jogga
3,
Memorial Highway.
30 Rock.
Am I the last one in the city still following the rules of being a person? You know what? New York is overrated.
$3, 2 bags, 1 me. Say, where does a young prostitute get started in this town?
Second-wave feminism had Mary Richards, who could turn the world on with her smile. Our generation has the far more realistic and relatable, and therefore less idealistic, Liz Lemon, who, along with her very unglamorous staff of writers and actors on her comedy show, seemed to be keeping everything in both her personal and professional life together with duct tape, even her bras. Through hilarious running gags and jokes that would make the likes of old-school comedians like Mel Brooks proud.
Hey, dummy, what are you doing to Grizz?
Whoa, you watch your mouth before I show you the back of my hand.
30 Rock embraces the chaos surrounding its characters, allowing us to laugh at and with them. It also shows that being perfect and the ideal version of anything or anyone is overrated, and it's a lot more fun and less anxiety-inducing to go through life when you finally let go of impossible standards and decide to just go a little easier on yourself. Number 2, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Hanged you here, I nailed you there, and on this couch, and in this chair, in the doorway, the hallway, on every stair, we tapped that ass all over this house.
Who hasn't felt like bursting into song every once in a while, whether it be for something good or something bad? If you haven't, you're lying. Given the show's title, it might be hard to think there was anything to expect from it other than some cheap laughs at a trope that's been around for too long. But this show somehow manages to both reject the moniker and own it all at once. Rebecca Bunch, a successful woman suffering from a myriad of mental illnesses, makes the impulsive decision to move across the country to follow a guy she had a brief fling with at camp years ago, thinking it could be the long-shot chance at happiness in her otherwise joyless, lonely life. Despite the bad reasons for the move, Rebecca, along with the fun cast of characters she meets along the way, winds up going on a journey of self-discovery and tries to gain some control of her life and mental health, something the show makes perfectly clear is never as easy as anyone thinks it should be. Whether you've been officially diagnosed with a mental illness or you're just having a hard time in life, this is a show that will make you feel better about whatever it is you're going through, showing that it's not the end of the world and there's no one-size-fits-all solution to your problems, and that sometimes it's the last thing you'd expect that puts a song back in your heart.
Antidepressants are so not a big deal. Big whoopee on an antidepressant. Sweet treats, here's the deal. Welcome to the club with open admission. You're cast in a play that has no audition. Yes, everyone is special, that's usually the sitch. But when it comes to meds, you're such a basic bitch.
think my period's coming.
Number 1. Fleabag. What is life like for the modern British woman who is stricken by grief, trying to run a business, and is a possible sex addict? Well, don't worry, Phoebe Waller-Bridge answered that question in spades. With fourth wall breaks and antics that have all the absurdity of something out of a sitcom, we follow a character known to us only as Fleabag, as she tries to get a handle on her mental health while keeping her business afloat.
Fuck me up the arse.
What are you getting?
Oh, just these. For my tiny, bleeding vagina.
Hot.
You?
Stock cubes. Hot.
It's a slice of life comedy drama that often goes left when you expect it to go right, and never sugarcoats how hard it is to be a person, especially a woman, in this modern day and age. While considerably darker than all the other shows on this list as its characters deal with death, bad behavior, and guilt, this show is also about redemption, forgiveness, moving on, and the love that people can show you at unexpected moments, and in their own unique ways, even in those unfortunately not so rare moments where you don't love yourself.
Yeah, except most people are... what? Shit. Look at me. Listen. People are all we've got. People are all we've got.
Hi guys, did you like our list? Did we miss anything? Is there another list you want us to do? Well, if so, please say so in the comments, and please, please, please subscribe to our channel.